For a time during the 1990s, Demi Moore was the highest-paid actress in Hollywood. Today, Demi is still hard at work, even if she's no longer at the top of the pyramid. Despite her immense success, she's been subject to some pretty serious personal turmoil. One of the most tragic moments of her more recent years includes the time she almost died of a drug overdose in front of her daughter. Coincidentally, this mirrored an incident that had occurred between Demi and her own mother. Join Facts First as Demi Moore opens up about the seizure that almost cost her her life. Demi Moore is known for a great deal of iconic roles, but the one she's perhaps most fondly remembered for is her role in the supernatural romantic drama Ghost. She plays a woman who falls in love with a ghost played by Patrick Swayze. Ghost provided audiences with a memorable romance, but it had a decidedly sad ending. Patrick Swayze's character steps into the light after finishing taking care of his remaining business on Earth. When this occurs, Demi Moore's character is understandably sad, but she makes the decision to stay on Earth and not follow her love into the afterlife. The moment made for some incredibly powerful cinema. Years later, Demi experienced a similar moment in her own life. According to the actress, there was an episode after her divorce from Ashton Kutcher where she overdosed on drugs and experienced a seizure. During the seizure, she saw a light similar to the light that Patrick Swayze's character had stepped into in Ghost. Demi Moore decided she wanted to keep living. Just as her character in Ghost decided to continue living instead of following her love into the afterlife, the actress decided she wanted to continue living after experiencing a drug overdose that nearly killed her. She'd been going through quite a bit in her personal life, and it proved just the wake-up call she needed. Later, she used the story as the opening chapter of her autobiography. Her near-death experience occurred just after the end of her marriage to Ashton Kutcher. She's been married 3 times over the course of her life, and Ashton was her 3rd husband. Her first husband was a musician named Freddie Moore. They tied the knot in 1980 before divorcing in 1985. At that point, she was far from being the superstar she would later become. But by the time she married second husband Bruce Willis in 1987, Demi was well on her way to becoming Hollywood's highest-paid actress. Demi and Bruce made things work for over a decade before finally divorcing in the year 2000. Over the course of their marriage, the 2 celebrities had 3 daughters together, Rumer, Tallulah, and Scott LaRue. Not long after divorcing Bruce, Demi shocked the world when she began dating a notably younger actor. May-December romances have always been a thing in Hollywood, but they typically involve older men dating much younger women. Demi flipped this stereotype on its head when she began dating television star Ashton Kutcher. Demi was madly in love with Ashton Kutcher. Demi Moore and Ashton Kutcher exchanged vows in 2005. The marriage was all over the tabloids, and it seems Demi was truly in love with her much younger 3rd husband. The marriage lasted for around 8 years, ending in 2013. However, separating from Ashton proved to be much harder than she had expected. After the divorce, the actress began going on a downward spiral in her personal life. This is the spiral that resulted in her infamous near-death experience. Before coming to Hollywood, Demi had already lived an incredibly tough life, thanks to an unstable upbringing. Upon her arrival in the entertainment industry, she was quick to turn to drugs and alcohol to cope with her past trauma. By the time she married Ashton Kutcher, her days of substance abuse were far behind her, but they were about to make a big and almost fatal return. Much of the public balked at the May-December relationship between Demi and Ashton. However, it seemed as if both celebrities took it very seriously. In particular, it seemed as if Demi was more smitten with her 3rd husband than she ever had been with her previous ones. By the end of the relationship, it seems Demi wanted to keep things going, but Ashton needed out. Understandably, Demi was devastated. She relapsed into drugs and alcohol and then had that near-death experience. Demi's drug overdose was a wake-up call. After relapsing, Demi had a drug overdose in front of one of her daughters. It saw her have a seizure, which sent her daughter into panic mode. She called the police, and everything turned out okay for Demi. However, the actress has recalled she remembers nearly stepping into the light during the almost fatal incident. According to Demi, she had to consciously make the decision that she wanted to keep on living, just as her character had done decades ago in Ghost. As one might imagine, her near-death experience proved the wake-up call she needed to put drugs and alcohol behind her once more. Today, she's sober again, and she credits the drug overdose with showing her the light, both literally and figuratively. The incident even was the opening chapter in her autobiography. Of course, it's far from the only traumatic experience that the actress has lived through. She had a tough upbringing. Although she wasn't trying to kill herself with her near-death experience, the incident strongly mirrored one that had occurred between Demi and her own mother when she was only 12. Her mother was very unstable, and she attempted suicide in front of her daughter. Demi has recalled fishing the pills out of her mother's mouth in the hope she could undo the damage. But the damage of being raised in such a turbulent environment stays with her today. Demi Moore had a horrible childhood. She ended up saving her mother's life at the age of 12, but the suffering didn't end there. This was not the only time Demi's mother attempted suicide, but it was the one that continues to stand out most in the actress's memories. Demi's mother was a promiscuous woman, and she could always be found cheating on the man Demi was raised to call her father. When Demi was older, she realized this man wasn't even her actual father. Demi's mother also had a habit of racking up massive amounts of debt. The family was constantly moving from one place to another to escape debt collectors. Towards the end of Demi's childhood, her mother was divorced and the two women were living alone. It was at this point things got to their absolute worst. With no husband to keep up appearances for, Demi's mother fell deeper than ever into substance abuse and promiscuous sex. Demi was becoming quite the attractive young woman, and the story goes that her mother would start bringing the teenage girl out to bars with her to help secure attention from men. Teenage Demi did end up attracting attention from men, and this resulted in another traumatic incident. According to Demi, she came home to her house when she was 15, only to find that her mother was gone and a strange man was there in her stead. Apparently, Demi's mother had given the man access to the house for $500. He wanted access so he could molest young Demi. Demi was raped in her own household. To this day, she refuses to believe her mother was aware of what the man intended to do. How she found success in Hollywood. After experiencing a childhood full of trauma, Demi Moore found herself unsure of how to proceed upon her coming of age. With little hope for the future, she decided she'd put it all on the line and try to become a Hollywood actress. The universe was looking after her as she received her first notable role at age 19. She was cast in the soap opera General Hospital, which led to her receiving increasingly prominent roles throughout the 1980s. It also introduced her to the world of drugs and alcohol. She became a movie star in 1984 after being cast in St. Elmo's Fire. One of the caveats for her signing on to the movie was that she was going to have to go through rehab. After that, she was sober for several decades leading up to her divorce from Ashton. Now it's time to hear from you. Did you know about all the trauma in Demi Moore's life? Let us know in the comment section below. And before you go, make sure you give this video a like and subscribe to Facts First if you haven't already. Click the bell icon to stay updated on all our latest content.